And welcome, this is Baller Scuba with Let's Play Super Mario Brothers. We are going to play the original, the classic of classics, the 1985 release by Nintendo for the Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Mario Brothers. But before we get started, I'm going to be reading the story that is presented in the instruction manual. So let's go through that before we get a new game underway. One day, the kingdom of the peaceful Mushroom Kingdom people was invaded by the Koopa, a tribe of turtles famous for their black magic. The quiet, peace-loving Mushroom people were turned into mere stones, bricks, and even field horsehair plants, and the Mushroom Kingdom fell into ruin. The only one who can undo the magic spell on the Mushroom people and return them to their normal selves is the Princess Toadstool, the daughter of the Mushroom King. Unfortunately, she is presently in the hands of the great Koopa Turtle King. Mario, the hero of the story, maybe, hears about the Mushroom people's plight and sets out on a quest to free the Mushroom Princess from the evil Koopa and restore the fallen kingdom of the Mushroom people. You are Mario. It's up to you to save the Mushroom people from the black magic of the Koopa. With that read, let's get a new game underway. Just the one player today, and even though there's a top score, I don't necessarily care about that. We are not going to be going for a completionist run today. That's kind of impossible in a game like this, but I'm going to be going entirely off of memory. Eat a mushroom, get bigger. It just makes all the sense in the world. Also, by destroying these blocks, I'm effectively killing Mushroom people. Mushroom Kingdom people. This game is hugely important to video game history. Now, is it here? Yeah, there we go. Get a free life. We might need that. Although I have a lot of experience with this game. I have hazy memories of this game. I played it really young. So, you have to forgive me if I'm not necessarily the best player, but we will definitely get through this. Should not be an issue for me. But, like I was saying, this game is hugely important to video game history. A lot of people single-handedly pick this game as the reason that the video game console market returned to North America after the 1983 video game crash. Now, that might be overstating it a bit. But honestly, not much. This game was revolutionary, especially on American shores at the time. I want you to think about certain things that are in this game that weren't in other games at the time. Remember, this is 1985. So you can picture some of the more popular games like Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, even Legend of Zelda. They did not have scrolling like is present in here. Notice how we smoothly scroll as we go through the level. That really opens up a world that was not necessarily there in other games. Which one is it? I know it's one of you. Oh well. There it is. No! I mistimed it. There we go. Get ourselves a star. We're invincible. So the scrolling here. No! I want that. I want that. I want that. It wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth it at the end there. If you do want to go to a warp zone, which I am not going to do, you can just jump up here. Real simple, just keep on going to the right and eventually you'll get to the warp zone past this pipe here. So, the side-scrolling in this game really opened up the world in a game that a lot of other games did not. Once again, picture games like Donkey Kong. Although Donkey Kong is kind of dated by the time this game comes out, it was re-released on the Nintendo Entertainment System, and it was kind of emblematic of a lot of games that were coming out at the time. This game doesn't really look like Donkey Kong. Number one, it doesn't have a black screen in the back. That's kind of big for me personally. But also, it scrolls. Once again, think about Donkey Kong. It all takes place on a single screen, and you beat that one screen, and then it just loads a new screen for you, right? There's a little animation, don't get me wrong, and it like scrolls onto the screen, but ultimately, you're only in control on the one screen. Pac-Man is the same way, right? As you play through Pac-Man, you're only on the one screen, and you beat it, and they load a new screen for you. This game doesn't work that way. It opens up a whole new world. What you see is not the entire game. Right now, Legend of Zelda also did that, but they didn't do it smoothly the way that Mario does, right? When you get to the edge of the screen in Legend of Zelda, it just kind of scrolls for you, and it's not necessarily jagged, but it scrolls only at certain points. You can go near the end of the screen and it won't scroll, but you have to make it all the way to the end before it does scroll. By the way, we're in our first castle level. Here's the evil Koopa King that we're talking about earlier. Hit the axe and he will go away. Thank you, Mario, but our princess is in another castle. And so we move on to World 2-1. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to do this 8 times, and the last one's a little weird, and that's the reason that as a kid I never beat this game. I couldn't figure out 8-4. I'm sure I'm not the only one who did things that way. Also, when I was a kid, I didn't picture Mario throwing fireballs. I pictured him, like, sneezing them. Like, he threw them out of his nose like it was a booger or something. I can't be the only one like that. For the record, also, he doesn't hit his head on the blocks. He does punch up. You can see his hand up there. He is punching the blocks away. But at the end of the day, he's still killing the Mushroom Kingdom people. So is that something that we want to really congratulate him on? I do know a couple tricks to this game. For instance, you can land on the edge of the pipe like this, and the piranha plant, clearly based off of, what's the name of it? A Little Shop of Horrors. You know, Feed Me Seymour, clearly based on that. The piranha plants cannot hit you if you are on the edge of the pipe. Also, their hitbox is a little weird. It's much more apparent in the Game Boy game, Super Mario Land, but they cannot. Their hitbox is a little weird. You can jump through the tip of their mouth, if that makes sense, because it doesn't register that you actually hit it. Oh. We're already at the end. Like I said, I don't care about points. This is back in the day when points was really the way to bring multiplayer into things. So if you had this at home, you could compare your score. God, you look fat when you swim, Mario. You can compare your score with your friend's score, and then you could be competitive that way. But they didn't realize that people really didn't care about that by the Nintendo Entertainment System. We were here for story, which was minimal at the time, and legends, right? Especially of like harder games, like there's an end to Contra? That kind of thing. Like, yeah, there's an end to Contra. No. But that's definitely what I remember at the time. Well, I don't remember Contra in particular. None of my friends had Contra. But we had Mega Man. And neither me nor any of my friends knew that there were Dr. Wily stages. I personally never even made it to the Robot Masters, but that's a whole different story. Also, don't hit your head. You go down a lot when you hit your head. It knocks you down quite a bit. So try to stay away from that. Try to stay away from that. That's the best that I can really tell you. And I made it through a lot water level without dying. That is a little surprising to me. I'm not a big fan of water levels in general. Missed the jump there. But As far as water levels go, these weren't necessarily bad, like, especially for the time. It's just that they're water levels. All right, the secret here is just to continue to run. If you never stop running, you will not get hit. I don't make the rules. I just tell you what they are. There was a power-up, but I don't necessarily care about it. Oh, shit. I didn't trust myself, so I had to stop running. But I think that's it. That's pretty much the level. I feel like Mario was the first game that really rewarded you. I refuse to talk over that music. The first game that really rewarded you for just going as fast as you could. With that said, I'm probably gonna die for going too fast one of these days. Because I can't control my own speed. I think I want to go up here. Not that it necessarily matters. No, down was the better option. Down was the better option. Careful here, you can hit your head. Shit. That's fine. That's fine. Haven't died. Probably will die at some point. Yes, these are the evil Koopa King's flames. Just for the record. Alright, could you not come at me? You should back off here. And there you go. Down goes not Bowser, because they haven't named him that yet. Thank you, Mario, but our princess is in another castle. Don't you be flipping me off, Toad. Don't you be flipping me off. On to World 3. Hopefully my streak of not dying will continue, but to be honest, I think that I'm going to die at some point. Speaking of which, here's one of my hated enemies when I played the game. Those guys will come at you if you hit them in the air, so a lot of times I'll hit them in the air, and then as soon as I land, I die. So I don't like those guys as a result. But I kind of want to talk about this game and its importance in video game history a little bit more. This game really did help bring back home consoles to the North American market. I feel like a lot of people just write that off as shorthand. Oh, now we got Hammer Bros. I thought I was far enough away. You got... Oh, come on. Get down here. There we go. A lot of people write that off as shorthand, like video games were a dead market. Super Mario Brothers came along, and video games suddenly came out of nowhere to come back. I feel like there were still arcades that were going. I feel like Japanese home consoles were still doing all right, and I feel like computer games were starting to make it. To be honest, I don't think that they were as good as console games at the time, but video games were still around, is my point. And I think a lot of people just write all of that off so that they can continue the narrative of Super Mario Brothers saves video games. And I think it's a little bit more complicated than that.